Break out the champagne. Everybody get a glass. Let's start it off sexy. What do you say? And all the ladies say. And all the ladies say. I think I like that.
You gotta dance with me, Ruben.
You on the East Coast.
I had to keep up with the best of everything. What do you think? I'm gonna have you on, and I can't even keep up. Come on.
You on the East Coast. You fly. You got the hat on. You know, look, and I'm in LA. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I feel like I just got finished doing construction or something. You making me look all, you know.
Oh no, that's the normal swag in LA. It's just leisure. You know, us others.
I'm repping Ali. I got my Ali sweats on, so you know.
That's what's up. Cheers to you, Ruben Paul. Welcome to Champagne and Conversations. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, well, we need to do, you know, another one when it's nighttime over here and call it Hennessy and Ha-Ha's or something like that.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. Let's do it.
Do it. We're in a pandemic.
Hennessy, and that's it. And we got to be creative.
Absolutely.
I'm excited about that. Thank you. Yes, please. Oh, you know, I'm going to continue to, you know, like text you. Are we going to do it? Are we going to do it?
That's why I gave you the number. And here's the thing. People, and maybe I got to get better at this. People contact me through Facebook all the time, but between real email, spam, and if you don't send this to 13 people, you're going to die. I don't even really be checking my Facebook inbox like that. I don't know how to organize it.
Just know that he was really important. It took me it's been about 6 months to get Ruben Paul on this show. So please understand. He's saying all of that, but it was like booking, I don't know who.
Hey, yo, you got the direct number, and all you got to do is go through my sister to have her bug me. You know,
yes, that's what she said.
One thing she gonna do, she always gonna get it done.
She gonna get it done over the holidays. She said, "Did you get Ruben yet?" I was like, "Not yet. He's too busy for me, but we'll get him on." So thank you, Ruben Paul, for joining us.
I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. So what are you doing? What's been going on? You've been keeping busy, obviously.
Yeah, I've been keeping busy. You know, this pandemic has been, you know, rough for everybody, no matter what line of work that you're in. But for comedians, it's been especially difficult. Because a lot of comedy clubs have shut down during the pandemic, and especially here in LA, I know in New York, where it's just been it's been difficult. This is the first time in my career where this is the longest I've gone in my career without performing on a regular basis, and we're all in unprecedented times. You know, this has never happened. If somebody would have told me you wouldn't be able to go out and do live stand-up comedy in a club or in a bar or whatever, I would have been like, nah. You know, there's always been an opportunity to perform. Now, there have been outdoor shows here and there, but they're cracking down. There's different rules in different counties. So I've done some online shows, which aren't the same, you know, but I do them for the people, you know what I mean? And to at least be in some type of comedy mode. So I've been doing a little bit of that here and there.
And what else? What else do you have going on? I know you kind of teased a little bit, and I'm gonna pull it out as much as I can, but you have some fun things happening right now in the midst of the pandemic.
I created a show with a comedian, Godfrey. Some of you guys might know who Godfrey is.
Of course we know.
Yeah, look Godfrey up. Yeah, so we created this show, and you know, we're doing it with Kevin Hart's company, and you know, we'll see what happens. But it's, you know, it's exciting. You know.
Well, congratulations. I'm excited to see it because I love comedy. I don't know if I said that or not, but I love comedy. Could sit and watch it all day. Actually preparing for you to come on.
Well, I would say this. You know, it's good to work with somebody like Godfrey, and you know, the two of us, you know, joining forces is it's gonna be a problem. We doing some dope.
Yeah, it's gonna be an entertainment piece.
Yeah. Me and Godfrey have been friends for a long time, and you know, we're both very talented, funny individuals. So
absolutely.
So to be able to link up and just create stuff for the people has been cool. And we've always wanted to work together on this level. So it's exciting.
So dope. I was watching one of your clips and cracking up laughing. Well, the one that I posted was part of when you said the women love men that have money. So
Yeah.
I was going into the second part of that, but bringing back to one of your other clips when you were talking about Black animals matter, I was just like, I know that was in like 3 years ago, and how timely was that? Not necessarily animals, but
Yeah.
where we are today.
Well, white folks love animals more than they love us. So let's
Black
keep it 100.
animals matter.
But you know what's hilarious is like, you telling me these clips, I'm like, man, I didn't even know them clips is online. That's the problem. People be putting your stuff up without your permission. But that's another thing that I'm going to be doing, you know, as I'm working on this project is, just getting together a lot of my clips and my comedy, taking control of that and putting it out there. I have an album
Yeah.
out that's doing pretty well called Laughter Knows No Color. That's out right now.
Okay.
You get it on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, wherever.
An
And,
album. You
yeah,
sing, rap, dance, and all one show?
no comedy album, baby. Old school, like Richard Pryor back in the day. Comedy albums when you driving, you put it in or download it and drive and laugh. But
Tell us the name of it again on iTunes.
it's Laughter Knows No Color.
Okay.
Yeah.
Laughter knows no color. And what is your social media so that if anyone missed that, they can actually connect with you?
I am Ruben Paul.
Okay. And you all probably should do that now if you want to connect with him by next year, because he takes a little while to get back to you.
Oh, there you go.
He's going through like, not yet, not yet.
Now, but we got to get the content out, during this time. You got to find different ways to stay productive and to keep the people entertained. We can't perform and people can't go to comedy clubs. You know what I mean? It just isn't comedians losing out on that, experience. It's people not having that getaway, because there's lots of people who love to go to come out and support live comedy. And if you've never been to a comedy show, you don't know what you've been missing. And once this pandemic is over, you need to go see some live comedy. It's whatever you think is funny online or in a video, it's probably 5 times or 10 times more funny when you
live.
See it. There's nothing like that energy, to be in a room with people, laughing together and having a good time.
Absolutely. So with that being said, you said that one of your favorite pastimes is going to the movies. And if that was one of them, how are you faring now with not being able to do it?
Oh man, that's been rough, because that's kind of my outlet, my escape. When I'm not performing, when I'm not doing stand up,
right?
I go see the movie. I go to see a movie. So that's been kind of whack. So I've pretty much seen everything on Netflix. I've seen everything on Amazon. I got the barbershop hookup on the bootlegs, the stuff that
that's still happening. That wasn't affected by the pandemic.
Yeah, I done seen Wonder Woman already. It ain't even came out yet.
The trailer not even out yet.
The trailer ain't even out yet. I done seen the damn movie. Pookie already got a copy. Pookie got a copy already.
That's a mess. That's a mess.
Yeah,
it's hard out here.
Yeah, so just been doing that. And then I think, also, I love to travel. I mean, a lot of my traveling is connected to performing. So I kind of miss, being in different cities, being in different countries.
Your real Chinese food that you thought you were ordering.
Yeah, watched everything. Yeah, so just doing it's just our normal way of life has been disrupted.
Absolutely.
I'm the type of person that looks at the positive in everything, and for whatever reason, not to be cliche, but this pandemic has happened to the world for a reason, so we have to pay attention to why it's happening. Maybe it's time that we all reconnect, we slow down, realize what's important. One thing that this pandemic has showed you is the difference between wants and needs.
Yeah, and appreciating what you have
And
for
appreciate
sure.
what you have. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, a
And the
lot.
beauty of it is being able to connect like we're connecting. I mean, because if we were moving on a regular basis, we would never probably cross paths. So this has opened up an opportunity for, like you said, you and Godfrey might have been wanting to connect and do
Mhm.
something amazing and you just didn't have the time to do it. So yeah, I think that is advantageous or a blessing, of
Oh,
course, we would
absolutely,
say.
absolutely. And then, shit, if you're in a relationship, I think you finding out if you need to be with that person or not. Because when you lock
I
down,
say I'm looking to my right and my left. Thank goodness. I don't have to worry about. I mean, I'm not saying thank goodness. I shouldn't say that because that's not really what I want to do. I
yeah,
would like to look here and say, hey, but for right now,
yeah,
whew,
and it's just it's the appreciation and of just understanding like even for me like certain things like you waste money on or you feel like oh I need this or need that and you're going I really don't need it, you know.
right, right.
I'm thankful that I have what I need, but it's crazy. These are crazy times outside of the pandemic. You know, it seems like the worst has come out in a lot of us, but the best has come out in a lot of us. And when I say that, I mean, you know, just the stuff that we've been dealing with socially this year. A lot of that's, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement really
Yep,
blew up this year,
yep,
you know, and I think, you know, if we weren't all stuck at home being able to see George Floyd or seeing, you know, these things that have happened,
yep.
would the reaction have been as fierce and as aggressive as it's been, you know, where
Same with this election. Look how we all chimed in and really paid attention to, what we
absolutely,
had going on.
yeah, people who have never
Necessary.
voted, you know what I mean? So there are some positives to take away
Sure.
from this year. And I think at the end of the day, it's all of us believing that better days are ahead.
Yeah. So is that what you're doing for keeping your, kind of serenity and peace in that? Are you just believing in what is to come, kind of dealing with the positive of it all? I mean, how are you faring with that right now?
Yeah, that's the only way I know. You know, I mean, think about what we do for a living. You know, I'm a comedian, I'm an actor. So to do something like that, to dedicate your life to something that's quote unquote uncertain, you can only, you know, achieve and progress by having faith and believing, you know, believing in
Absolutely.
yourself
How long have you been a comedian?
over 20 years,
Oh, wow. So
you
you're
know.
about ready to retire, and now they put you a year behind.
Nah, it ain't no retirement. It's funny you said that. Me and Godfrey had a conversation about that. Like, there's no retiring from this. You know, I thank God that I'm in an art form that
Yeah.
literally you can do until you die. I mean, you look at
Yep.
Rodney Dangerfield and George
Richard
Burns
Pryor.
and Richard Pryor, and
Yep.
like, and comedy is an adult art form when you really think about it. You know what I mean? The
Yep.
more experience you have, the more life that you've lived, the funnier you can be. There's no mistake why older comedians are usually the funniest because they have a wealth of knowledge and experience that they've gone through
Absolutely.
that they can share with the people. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of dope young comedians, and I want to believe that I was a dope young comedian at
And
one
still
point.
are, of course. Of
Absolutely.
course.
You know, but it's really about the growth and knowing that no matter what you do, you know, you can keep improving, keep getting better, and if you just keep working on the craft. But yeah, it's a blessing. I haven't worked a job in over 20 years. I'm
Yeah,
talking about
well, you
a day
turn your
job.
passion into a purpose, and it is what it is. And
Yeah,
you're surrounded by an amazing group of people. I know Chris and some of your other peers, and I've come to the Laugh Factory and watched you guys perform, and it's just amazing. I just think that being able to do it so leisurely, like when you all were talking about what you would wear, just to be able to, even if you had to do that every day, just being able to do that and
yeah,
having that art form, like you say, to not have to conform to you have to look like this and you have to say this and you have to watch this. Don't laugh too loud. Don't,
yeah,
it's difficult when people have to be in that type of like box.
yeah.
So to experience what you all are experiencing and then be able to share it because it's like on demand when you
Mhm.
all are up there and you're sharing just funny stories and such. It's like, oh, I needed that.
Yeah,
Oh, this is exactly what I was just talking about, or,
exactly.
whatever it is.
And to me, that's always the best type of comedy. I think you know there's all different type styles of comedy, and
Sure.
that's why I never believe in uh, one person is funnier than this person. Now everybody has the right to opinion, and we're all going to say we like somebody or don't like somebody, or that's funny or that's not funny. But comedy is so subjective But I
Mhm.
think the best thing as comedians that we can do, for me, are the type of comedians that I am drawn to, is people who draw from their own lives and personal
Yeah.
experiences.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, it makes you more relatable, and you could bring healing to people
Yeah.
if you're willing to dig and talk about those uncomfortable things that you've experienced through your life. Somebody could be in the audience going, wow, I thought I was the only one who dealt with that. So
Right.
whether you're talking about, death, or whether you're talking about abuse, whether you're talking about, you know, getting jumped or whatever the life experience has been, to be able to
Right.
go on stage and share that, it makes people feel like they're not alone. Like when you hear somebody else go, oh wow, damn man, they went through the same thing. So I
Yes.
think that's
Bit of
one
hope.
thing that's great about comedy. Yeah, and it gives them hope. Yeah, knowing that things are better on the other side.
So up to the pandemic, what had been your, your most exciting moment in your career?
Um, I mean, I've been blessed enough to have a lot. Um, just the fact. I mean, I try to start every day with gratitude.
Sure.
So I try to be overly grateful. The places that I've been, the stages that I've formed on, the projects that I've had, had the opportunity to be in, whether it's movies or television, or collaborating with some of the biggest comedians of the world, whether it's, George Lopez or Russell Peters or D.L. Hughley or Jamie Foxx or whoever, to be
Yeah.
able to just to be able to work, and then for myself as a performer to be able to flex another muscle, whether I'm writing or doing stand up or acting. I'm grateful that I'm not just stuck doing one thing. And that has really shown up during the pandemic.
Sure.
Because if you're just a comic and you just do live stand-up shows, it's probably tough to, you know, make money, have income right now. And it's
Right.
all about, my sister would tell you, it's all about having different streams of income,
Oh, we
coming
go
in.
at it every day.
Yeah. How can you get paid while you're sleeping? You know what I mean?
But that's my goal.
Yeah.
Just so you know, that's the goal.
Yeah.
What we are curating is to be okay while we sleep.
Yeah.
So that's where we're headed, okay?
Yeah, and that's where we all need to be. And I think we need to be cognizant of that. No matter if you're a comedian or no matter if you work at Target, there's things that you can do if you get with the right people, where
Right.
you can create opportunities where you're not dependent on one thing or the government or luck or just hoping, but actually putting a plan together and
Sure.
putting action behind that plan, to know that, hey, there's things that I can do to, you know, better my life, put myself in a better position. So when things like this happen, you
You're
know,
prepared.
you're prepared.
Yes.
And is anybody really prepared for a pandemic?
No.
But you can put yourself in a situation. I mean, thank God I don't spend frivolously, because I was able to put a little bit money away, to be able to survive
Right.
during this time. But even that started
Sure.
running out. You know what I mean? It was like, I need to do something. They cut unemployment.
Like 3.5 months, 4 months, you're like,
Yeah, and then what about?
um,
Is there any language restrictions on this?
no,
Oh, well, yeah. So
not at all.
my boy was like, "Man, you didn't get that $1,200 from Trump." I was like, "Nigga, I ain't that broke. I didn't qualify for
Stimulus.
$1,200. I didn't qualify for the 1,200." No
I
offense
didn't
to
get the
no
stimulus.
offense to
No.
anybody out there who did. No offense to anybody out there who did. But unfortunately, I guess, and unfortunately, I didn't qualify for that.
Yeah, it's just you. You didn't qualify. You were upset that you
Yeah,
didn't
I
qualify.
wish I did qualify. I could have used that 1,200.
Yeah, absolutely. And even with that, in planning what you're gonna do with that, it was unexpected, but still just being able to put that in a place where it made sense. That was like the encouraging part. It wasn't like the tax, refund that people get and they just kind of go off and do whatever, they have wanted to do all year. But this was like planned, because not knowing when the next may come, if it ever comes, as of right now, it hasn't come. So you know, 1,200, it has to go a long way. Or
It's a cold game.
yes. So breaking out, in the event that we're out, say top of 2021, I guess, where's your most sought after place? Where would you like to be once we get
Um,
out of this?
Once we get out of this, just really hoping the harvest comes from all the seed planted during this pandemic.
Okay.
So I've been doing a lot of writing aside from this project with Godfrey. I have a couple of other projects that I've been working on. So getting those things moving, and back to performing. I do want to go back and perform all over the world again. I want to go
Yeah.
back to South Africa and perform. We've already had conversations about me going back there. That's a place that I've performed multiple times, and I love
You
the
like it?
energy and the people in South Africa. If you've never been to South Africa, do yourself a favor and get there. But just going around and making different people laugh, no matter you know where they're from, what they look like, what their economic background is, just to be able to go there and entertain. That's one of the things that gives me great joy. But
Yeah.
ultimately, I want to do more film, more television, be more in front of the camera, keep doing
Hmm.
stuff behind the camera, and doing live shows. That's what the hope is for 2021 and beyond.
And who would you like to work with? Who haven't you worked with that you'd love to collaborate with at this point?
Um, to be honest, it's not anybody specific that I can think of right now, but I
Okay.
just want to work with like-minded people.
Absolutely. Say
You
that
know,
again. Like-minded
like-minded people,
people.
people who want to get
Where
it done.
are
People,
you? Cheers to
yeah,
that.
yeah, people who aren't ego driven, but just want to do great work and get it out to the
Oh,
public. That,
yes.
and that's one thing where me and Godfrey talked about even in doing the show is, you know, we have a point of view, and we think we can make people laugh and educate them at the same time.
Sure.
Those are the projects that I like to do. Even, when you see certain movies that have been done over the years, especially if they're Black films, they're usually certain types of films.
Hmm.
And there's more to us as a people or as a race that we can offer, into entertainment. Like everything doesn't have to be, a drug story or rags to riches story. Even those stories are important. We've seen all of them. Are the white savior movies where, the white teacher goes to the Black school and saves the day. She shows up at the house and who is you? I'm here to see Jamal. Jamal ain't here right now. Well, I'm Mrs. It's like, really?
So with that being said, what would be the next, I mean, and that's interesting that you say it, because I don't know if film development does it trend that way typically, like whatever is what people would accept or watch, is that really what happens with
I, I
with
mean,
making film?
to be honest with you, this alone is probably a 20-hour conversation because there's lots of different philosophies. I've been to forums with Black filmmakers who have discussed this. Part of the issue is if somebody does just a regular quote unquote Black movie, you know, that doesn't have violence or any type of shucking and jiving, it's like, well, Black people don't go out and support those films. Like, people look at the dollars. If certain types of movies are making all the money, then those are the types of movies Hollywood wants to make. So at some point, there has to be, I don't want to use the word rebellion, but there has to be a commitment to going, hey,
Different direction.
we got to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
And if Hollywood isn't going to fund them, then we have to find our own way. I mean,
Yes.
we all know that, Oprah and different people have given money to different filmmakers to help them,
Sure.
help them support their vision so they don't have to, be bound by this, formula or this box that a lot of us have been put in. But I think now with technology, it's not as expensive to do projects
Right.
as it used to be.
You can get
So maybe
creative.
we go the independent route,
Sure.
but at the end of the day, we have to support those type of films.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of Black people out there. Like we're not a monolith, you know what I mean, as Black people. So, there is a part of the culture that wants to see different things, that don't just want to see hood movies or not that those movies aren't dope. I like them just like everybody else, but I think we need variety.
Yeah.
You get stereotypes, and sometimes those images, are to our detriment. You know what I mean?
Especially now, because everything is so influential, especially because we're all just tuned in. At
Yeah,
first, you're kind of hitting and missing, but you can't watch too much of this and too much of that and not start to form a certain type of opinion.
exactly. Now think about this. If, and we're talking as black people, but imagine the white people who ain't never been around black people, and all they do is see movies with us putting guns in people's mouths and music that's violent and everything. Why do you think the cops are so fucking nervous when they pull us over in the first place, if that's been the narrative that they've been cycling through their mind for the last 20 years? So they become a cop, they think every black person has a gun, every black person is violent. And that's why you see these situations when they pull over, white belligerent white people. They don't see them in the same light that they see us.
And they think some, aren't educated, like we aren't really aware of what our rights are, what we can do, what we can say,
Exactly.
how to even approach a situation. So yeah, obviously that stigma is there. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it carries over until you change the narrative. And
Yeah.
that's great that, you all as influencers, have that ability to do, as you stated, working with Kevin Hart and, some of the others that have that ability to create your own. That's where it becomes more of a motivating sense.
And let me just say, it's not easy. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy for me to sit up here and just say this.
Right.
I think we understand, the ones who want to make a change, we know it's going to take a lot of hard work, a lot of belief, a lot of determination, finding the right people, the right connections to, push this industry to a different place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we can be seen in a different light, and we can change perception, because not only is it here in the US, these images and these stereotypes are being broadcast all over the world.
Across the world. Mm-hmm.
All over the world.
Mm-hmm.
When you meet somebody in another country and they tell you, wow, I thought all black people were like that.
We're like this, right?
And then you go, no, like, and I've had those conversations, and they're innocent on their part, like they don't know.
Right.
They've never seen anything different. Like, I've been in places in China where, I walk out my hotel room and everybody just stops, because you don't see black people walking around the street.
Right.
You see white people walking around. Everybody wants to stop and take pictures with you, and they have no idea who you are. They just know they saw a unicorn walking down the street.
You look like somebody. We know you look like somebody.
Yeah, I remember I was in this city called Nanjing in mainland China, and I was walking to go get something to eat, and I was with a friend of mine, and it was a traffic cop directing traffic, and he's doing this, and he looks and he sees me, and he freezes. He literally stops and just stares at me. So I pull up my phone and I take a picture, and when you look at the picture and you blow it up, there was somebody like 50 yards behind him staring at me too. It was like a whole, like everyone had stopped.
Who's that?
Exactly.
Yes,
So,
that's dope.
yeah. So the problem is, a lot of people don't get a chance to be around lots of different types of people. And that's the problem, even here in the US and rural America. A lot of times, people have judgments around black people, but have never had a conversation or never spent time with a black person. But yet they
Right.
have strong opinions about us.
But then in the same, I mean, in certain aspects, they like the trends, they like the things that we do offer. And you'll find that some of the cultures, abroad will adapt to that stuff, i.e. hip hop. They like that,
Well,
they get into it.
yeah, the saying is, um, they love black culture more than they love black people. You know what I mean? They love what we
Mm.
bring to the table.
Okay, that's a perspective.
They love to watch us play basketball. They love to watch us sing. They love to watch us dance. I mean, racists have always gone to sporting events. I mean, you know, they love the athleticism. They love to see the big, strong black bucks out there, running and performing for them. But when it comes to having them at your dinner table or spending time or being respectful, at the grocery store or whatever,
Right.
um, we don't get that same type
Same
of
respect.
admiration. Yeah, that
Mhm.
respect as a people. Everyone's going to respect, celebrity. That's why sometimes white people, they don't understand the disconnect. They're like, oh, I love LeBron James. You know, I love Denzel Washington. I love, well, you're talking about stars. You're talking about, but how about George Jackson, you know,
That you don't know.
that you don't know, that works at UPS.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That, you know, you calling the police on him when he's trying to deliver a package. How about
Right.
that black guy? You
Mhm.
know, how about the black guy that, you know, works at Trader Joe's or wherever? You know, and that's the problem. And I commend people like LeBron, who they might not go through certain things that the rest of us go through, but they're still standing up for
And
everyone
aware.
else.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Making
And they're
people
aware.
aware.
And,
Mhm.
and I'm the same way. Like, even if it's a situation where, you know, in business sometimes, some comedy clubs or some promoters might mistreat comedians as a whole, but they ain't done nothing to me. Like, they give me my money on time, they do this and that. But if I find out that they're shortchanging other comedians or they're not treating them well or with respect, I'll stop working with them, or I'll say something on their behalf. And most people are like, why? You getting yours? But I just believe that if we're all, you know, love your neighbor as you love yourself, or we're all our brother's keeper, then we need to stick up for the least among us. You know?
I heard a story that there it was a comedian saying that, you know, at one point there's certain clubs that are kind of where they just allow for you to get on stage and just display your brand, so they don't pay a lot. Have you ever been or worked in any of those environments?
Absolutely.
Okay. Is that how you started?
Yeah, it's how you start, but you know, you're still fighting for your value the whole way. Like, everyone's not going to get paid the same. You know, if Kevin Hart shows up, excuse me, if Kevin Hart shows up at a club and Ruben Paul shows up at the club, the check is way different. You know what I mean? And that's just the reality of the situation in most businesses. You know, the higher up you are on the food chain, the more you know, the more money you make. But the difference is, I don't let the food chain, uh, uh, um, how can I say this?
Dictate your worth.
Amen. I don't.
Listen, I got you.
You know, and that's the thing. And I think what a lot of people fall victim to is the comparison. You
Yeah.
know, just because somebody might make $20 million a year doing what I do doesn't necessarily mean they're better at it.
Sure.
You know what I
Sure.
mean? And that just doesn't go for me. There's a lot of hilarious comedians out there that a lot of people have never heard of and who've never seen, that are not household names, that are brilliant,
Mhm.
literally.
They
Comedians.
just found a niche.
Yeah. And then, you know, some people take off before others. You know, I always say that there's no statute of limitations on success.
Mhm.
Whenever it happens for you, it happens for you. Like,
Mhm.
there's no thing, thank God in comedy, you know, you can blow up when you're 60 years old, 50
Yeah.
years old. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Rodney Dangerfield, I don't think made it until like he was like 56 or something like that.
And that's in even acting. I think a lot of people were saying late 30s, early 40s. So, I mean, it's just where, I guess, in the
Just when it
time.
happens. It's just
Mhm.
timing. You know, what's for you, I believe what God has for you is for you.
It's for you.
And it's in his perfect time, but you just can't give up, and you just can't be disheartened. You can't lose your way. And that's my focus. And what is success to you? You know, a lot of times we define success comparing it to other people. And that's a rough way to live your life. Like, people are looking at Instagram not knowing that half of it isn't even real in
Right.
the first place, but yet they're basing their values off of edited photos and life
Edited
out
photos.
experiences. Yeah, you know. So, you know, I mean, but you got young girls, you know what I mean, looking at these other women feeling like they need to go out and do certain things because
Right.
of a post. They don't realize that it's been photoshopped, or they done went out and got surgery and all these other things, and now they're feeling bad about themselves. So you have to love yourself and know your own value and define what success is to you. And I learned that from a veteran comedian, because I'm not where I want to be in my life, but I know I'm going to get to where I want to be. And, you know, he reminded me how successful I was. He goes, when was the last time you had to get up in the morning and clock in at a 9 to 5 job?
Okay, that's what we were just talking about. That's
You
it.
know? And he goes, you know, you've been on TV, you've done movies, and he goes, where, you know, it might not be exactly where you want to be right now, but don't for
Sure.
1 minute think that you're not successful. And then
Right.
you talk to other comedians who can't pay their bills, who are struggling, and then you realize, like, man, you know, there are people who would want to switch places with me, even though you don't feel like that personally. And I think that's the problem, is we always seem to want or want what somebody else has, you know.
And it's okay to be driven. And obviously we have our own goals and, a timeline in which that needs to happen. But yes, to that point, being able to stay home for 1 year, we've been home in the pandemic almost 1 year. So
Yeah.
to not allow for it to have mentally affected you and you're still in your good health and have your faculties about you, and then even still being able to maintain wherever you are, those things are what the success is about. And then even bridging that into creating the things that you've wanted to, that time just didn't allow for it to happen. So we engaging in this is a great thing, to be able to just take a moment and say, let's just kind of recalibrate. Let's just
Yeah.
kind of, give thanks to one another, check to everyone's temperature, see how we're doing,
Yeah.
laugh a little bit, and then keep moving. But that's, to me right now, where the success lies, is how well you can do it and not let it shake you, not let it, give you the moment of uncertainty or doubt, or, like the mental, where people have like totally, I mean, not to change anything, but I was on a live the other night, and, there was a sense of someone that was ready to like take their lives. And the intervention happened really quickly, and it was able, that person even came on the live to say thank you for, you guys wrapping your arms around for us, for me to get it together. But you just don't know where people are in this space and time.
And I commend that person for speaking out. Like a lot of people suffer in
Absolutely.
silence. You know what I mean? They
Absolutely.
don't say anything. And I think I had
Absolutely.
a
Mm.
conversation with a friend recently. You got to check in on people. Here's the thing.
Yes.
Here's the thing, and I'm gonna make two quick points. I
Take your time. We have time. We have all day. Look, it took us forever to get you here. So you all just get a little drink, sit back and relax.
I think what we all need to realize, and I think it's hard for people to realize, especially in the world and the society that we live in, is it's not all about you.
Yeah.
And a lot of us operate with that mindset like it's all about me,
Yeah.
and it really isn't. And the gifts that we've been given, the
Sure.
money that we've been allowed to make, if we aren't using it to uplift other people and be a
Say it.
blessing to other people, what are what are we really doing? You know what
Right.
I mean? Because when we die, we don't take any of it with us. You're leaving it for other people,
Right.
for generations to come. So if you're doing art, you're doing music, yeah, there's a sense of self-fulfillment because it came from you, but you're really doing it for the people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my desire to go out and perform isn't just ego driven, like, oh, I just need to. I know people need laughter. So when people do reach out to you, be there to listen to them, you
Sure.
know, hear them, not just listen to them, but really hear them,
And yeah, and
you know,
respond if need be in
and,
whatever way.
and reach out and check on people. I had somebody tell me, I said, hey, how you doing? He's like, not too good. And when somebody tells you that, then I just, just makes you want to help them. Like, hey, talk to me, whatever I can do to help you, because you're not the only one who's dealing with this pandemic. You're not the only one who's struggling. You're not the only one whose unemployment got cut off. And when you're not alone, I think that gives people hope in a
Oh,
sense, because when you feel isolated and you feel hopeless,
right.
because you feel totally alone and that's your only option. So, there's been a lot of suicide this year. There's been a lot that people have had to deal with. So check in on your friends. You never
Yep.
know what somebody's going through. When
And
somebody
especially now
disappears.
with the holiday, we just came out of Thanksgiving, and you hear the stories of those folks that weren't able to really, provide what they wanted for their families, the meals, for holiday. And then now we're going into this one. It's a lot of stress on people just on a normal day, because they feel like we got to do all of this, these gifts and these things, and it's just not necessary. If you just take to the basics of
Yeah,
what is supposed to be, and just fellowship, and just be thankful for the days and the times, I think that you get through it a lot easier than
yeah,
having to stress about the tangible items,
yeah.
the material things that people feel like they have to have.
Yeah, like how about all the people, and I've been guilty of it too. During the holidays, we run out and overspend and do all these things that, you know, spend money that we know we should be saving or be keeping just because of of the commercialization of
The
Christmas,
holiday.
the
Mm-hmm.
holidays. Now people are in a position where they can't do that. So your holiday is going to be shitty because you can't do that, or
Nope.
you're going to focus on what's
Like,
really,
hey.
yeah, what's really important. Being with
Right.
family, doing what you can do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe I can't go out and get you, the new PlayStation 5, but we can be together because you know tomorrow's not promised to anyone.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So
That
that's yeah.
that is something to definitely take away, and it's so very important. And of course, with what you all are, planning, hopefully you all have taken that into account in terms of the entertainment. It's so very important, just for people to be able to take a moment, and just step away from all the things that they actually see, and be able to just get into a space where they can just enjoy, something different. It's definitely a piece of peace. It's a source of peace to be able to say, all right, I'm gonna step away from all these things that are stressing me, and be able to laugh, be able to just kind of, get into somebody else's life for a second, and just listen to some of the things that, you guys have to say. I think that that's amazing. And the craft, the gift that you guys have to be able to do it. I think that I can do a little bit, but it's definitely not a 30-minute show.
Hey, but you'll grow to that. Whatever you aspire to, you'll be able to achieve that. So
Yeah.
you can't do that right now. Who knows? By January or February, you'll do whatever it is that you want to do. One thing that's been great about 2020 is people learning how to be self-sufficient.
Yes,
I have a
absolutely.
friend who was not computer literate at all. He's taught himself how to edit. I don't even know
Oh,
how to edit videos. He was
what
like,
is he editing?
just different videos and stuff that he wants to do
Okay,
because
okay,
he doesn't have the money, or the resources to go out and hire somebody to do it. So he's like, you know what? Let me teach myself. Let me figure this out. And I think a lot
right.
of people have done that in a lot of ways, where it's like, okay, am I going to sit here and cry all day and wait for somebody to come save me, or wait for this pandemic? We don't know when it's going to be over.
Right,
So what are we going to do? Sit around and be idle? Nah, man, we got to figure it out. And it's
figure
not
it
something
out,
that you got
or
to figure
call
it
it
out in
as.
one day. You don't. But every day, just you find something that you can do,
Yeah,
that you can control, to feel like you're being productive. And I think
absolutely.
ultimately you just want to feel like you're being productive for the
Yep,
most part. Now, do I
yep.
have my days where I sit around and don't do anything? Absolutely. You know what I mean? You do have those days. Sometimes you do got to unplug, or maybe you are having a bad day. Maybe you are feeling depressed or whatever, and you just need to take a moment and drink some champagne, or
Yeah.
you know,
Listen, your sister and I, we have this on all the time.
well, she gave me a bottle of champagne on Thanksgiving, so I haven't popped it open yet.
That's okay, and I will send you more, so don't worry. We'll make sure, those days that you take a down day, that you
Yeah,
have something to do.
yeah.
Drink champagne.
Sometimes you do need a down day to recharge and to connect. So I think it's just we got to live our lives and understand that we're in this together. And you know, like I
Be
said,
grateful, be
be grateful.
thankful.
Yeah.
Yep. And look at the blessings that we have in front of us. Be thankful for the people and the resources that we have, because that's the way that we actually move to the next step.
Yeah.
So when we get that together, then we're like, okay, good. Because we never know. Just those folks that are right around you could be blessings that
And
you may be ignoring.
I have another friend, and I do this a lot anyway. It's just been reading, just trying to acquire knowledge, and she wasn't a reader. She wasn't a person who read a lot,
Yeah,
but
I'm
she's like,
not either.
we in this pandemic, let me read this book that I've been hearing about for so long. And when she
Right.
read one book, it's like, yo, that fulfilled her. She wanted to
Triggered.
read
Uh-huh.
another one and read
Okay.
another one. Now she's hitting me. It's like, have you read this book? I'm like, yeah,
She
I read
ready to
that book.
start a book club.
I'm like, yeah, I read that 10 years ago. I read
I
the
think I got
article.
about 3 or 4 in my repertoire. I
Yeah.
hate to say it, but I'm just like, that time spent to sit and read, and I have some new ones in my office, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'll get to them at some point. Can we put it on something audio? Can I listen that way? Because just sitting.
Well, audio counts too. You know what I mean? But
Good. Thank you.
as long as you're doing something, and
Acquiring the information.
Yeah, and it's something, and you have time to do it, so you're not beating yourself up, but you feel like you're bettering yourself. Because I think our goal should be, everybody goal is to survive this pandemic, and then to come out on the other side better than we were.
Absolutely. And if you don't, you've done yourself a disservice. And that could be the lack of success at this juncture, is
Yeah.
to be able to say, what did you accomplish on the other side?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
that's
whether
the challenge.
and then it's health too. Like, we all make jokes about how everybody has been putting on weight during COVID and
Right.
everything. But at some point, you do got to start thinking about your health. You know what I mean? Don't eat yourself to death during this, 'cause this
Or
result
drink yourself to death.
yeah, exactly. Or smoke yourself to death.
You got to do something.
And don't get me wrong, I'll smoke my little weed or whatever, and to chill and to relax. That's what I enjoy doing. But it's really about taking care of yourself and putting yourself in a position to be able to flourish, through this and on the other side of this.
Right. So you have a podcast, and you on your podcast, is there any specific I guess, topic that you all cover every time someone joins you, or you just kind of go with the flow each guest
We,
you
we
have?
kind of go. I mean, the name of the podcast is called The Best of Everything. I do it with a buddy of mine, comedian Johnny Sanchez, who most might know from his stand-up and Mad TV. He was a cast member on that show. But we just try to talk about what's going on, but ultimately, the best of everything. We want to talk about the best things in life, and even if that's taking somebody from a dark situation to the best thing, or comparing different things, but just trying to acquire knowledge and to talk about what's going on, to try to stay relevant and consistent with what's happening right now. But
Sure.
it's a fun podcast, and we joke around a lot, but then we're serious a lot too. You know what I mean? To try to give people hope. Whatever I do, I want hope to be connected to it. I
Right.
want people to, whether it's comedy, people laughing, or me just, or movies or television or whatever I have my hand in. I hope it's a project that gives people hope, that makes people want to, gives different people a different perspective.
Yes, yes. And in whatever way you can get it, especially if you're like me and not a reader, at least we can get it from those that take the time to read. Those that take the time to have the information, just share it with me. Just give me the bullet points, please, because I haven't had a chance to really get into all of that.
Exactly. And you could tell, remember them Cliff Notes back in school? You get the Cliff Notes.
And I took a speed reading class. So whatever I needed to do to get through it, I went to the bold words, I learned those, and I got through it.
You do a book report with the Cliff Notes, and your teacher be like, okay, so you didn't read the book.
Yeah, because somehow they were familiar with the Cliff Notes. I don't know what it was. It was like, well, why did you all even give us the opportunity?
Because what people don't realize, Cliff Notes are all broad strokes. So when they ask you a specific question, you be like, damn, I didn't read that one. I just read the Cliff Notes.
Listen, I had adapted to a creative space at that point. So I understood how to close the gap with that. And it would go on and on and on, but I'd get through it. That's how I knew that there was somewhere else I was supposed to be, in some sort of art. I'm like, yeah, this left brain is now all me. I got to do the right somehow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, Ruben, thank you so much for joining Champagne and Conversations. This has been an amazing hour of conversation with you, and I look forward to us doing our, you said Hennessy and ha-ha.
I just throw it out, Hennessy and ha-ha. We could call it, cognac and comedy, whatever.
Yeah,
we
that's it. Yeah. Yes, coin it, because that's what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna be on you about us doing that.
Let's do it while we got the time, So
that's it. And we'll have special people on so we can have a good time.
Yeah. Whenever you want me back, we can do it. We can get some other people on here too, and we could just laugh and have a good time, and people could tune in and forget about whatever pressure they're dealing with in life right now, and just have a good time.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Thank you so much. Happy holidays to you. I appreciate you too. And I look forward to the best of everything in the rest of 2020, 2021, and on from there. And I'm excited about you guys' new project and all the things that's coming. Stay strong, stay blessed. Thank you. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.